Welcome to A&T Sports Talk podcast. My name is Ashton Hare. This is...
I'm Jake Terry. I'm his co-host.
All right. Today, episode 1, we're talking a little bit about the draft. That's right. We're doing a mock draft today. But first, I thought we'd introduce ourselves, get to know each other. So I'll start with you, Jake.
Okay. Episode 1. We've been talking about this for a long time now, and I think now's the time, We know a lot about, NFL, NBA type stuff, college football, college basketball, all that. So, it's just been a big interest, and now first episode, starting with something with what I know really well, the NFL draft. And, yeah.
Yep, that is right. Jake does play football. We were both in high school, just kids talking about sports. So let's get into this draft.
Okay, let's do it.
In the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select
that was Isaiah Simmons.
Look at linebackers in all of college football, 6'4", 230, and he is unbelievable in space.
Crimson Tide tabbed as the next Marcus Mariota. How about that?
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
You stand next to this guy, and it's just all I can think to myself is like, oh my goodness, is that real?
Just some quarterback from Ohio that came in. Clyde, not everybody wanted him. Justin Jefferson, 2-star recruit. Thad Moss transfer, me transfer. I told you. Nobody believed me. I told you.
Pick 1, Cincinnati. I think the obvious answer here is Joe Burrow, although I don't believe Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the draft. He had the second highest QBR, first in yards, 60 touchdowns. He had 5,600 yards. I think Joe Burrow's the pick, although I do not think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
I would agree with you on that. I do have Joe Burrow. I think anybody would have Joe Burrow here. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best college quarterbacks to ever do it. I mean, he broke 10 records, 5 SEC records. That is insane. If the Bengals mess this up, I'm sorry, Bengals fans.
Do you think he's the best quarterback in the draft, though?
Talent-wise, I would say he'd be the best quarterback, but not in Cincinnati. Anywhere else but Cincinnati.
I mean, my thing about him is, if you look at his junior season, it was average. It wasn't, before the season, he was a third-day type of guy in the draft, 6th, 7th round. But now he's all of a sudden the first pick. And don't get me wrong, a great season. But my thing is, the whole season was tank for Tua, tank for Tua, tank for Tua, and Tua got hurt. So, I mean, Joe Burrow's a great prospect. I think he's his ceiling is a bit better than Tony Romo. He reminds me of Tony Romo that can move a bit better.
I had that written down as well.
Yeah, and I think if he's a bust, well, he plays for the Bengals, so it could happen, but I don't think he'll be a bust. I think he'll be a Pro Bowler, but yeah.
Yes. I got all that written down. I mean, he had at LSU one of the best coaches, best offensive coordinators. I don't think that translates to the Bengals. All right. Pick number 2, Redskins. I think we both got Chase Young,
yeah,
obviously.
Chase Young. The best player in the draft, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Do you think he's, where do you think he ranks with, Joey and Nick Bosa? Do you think he's, better than both of them? He's worse?
Man, it's hard to tell. I think he's the most physically gifted out of all of them. Yeah. Obviously, he is huge. His hands are huge. His technique, I'm not really sure. So far, all I've seen is physical stature.
But you got to remember, he's getting double-teamed almost every play. And that's my thing.
That, yes.
He's getting double, triple teamed against Wisconsin. People are like, oh, in the big games, like the bowl game and the playoffs, he didn't have a lot of big plays. Well, he's getting double teamed and triple teamed against some of the best offensive linemen in football. You got to remember that. It's kind of like Aaron Donald. Now Aaron Donald doesn't put up big numbers anymore because, he gets triple teamed by a center and 2 guards almost every play. So, that's my thing about Chase Young. He's going to be good. I don't think he's as good as, Joey and Nick, but I think he's right up there with them. So
Now, there was rumors of Tua actually going to the Redskins about a week ago. I think those were blown out of the water.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think that they're picking Chase Young here.
Ron
Safe
Rivera
bet.
is a defensive coach. He was in Carolina. He's always been.
Yeah.
So I think, you got to go with your guy.
I agree with that. All right, pick number 3. Lions here. They need a corner. Who are they taking?
I got Jeff Okudah, but hear me out. So the thing about, you can go with a few things here, Darius Slay, I mean, they traded him. He was a very talented guy. So, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But also you got to think, they could go Simmons. They could do a lot here, actually. But my thing with Jeff Okudah is he's very good. He's very talented. They compared him to Denzel Ward from Ohio State as well. They said he's a bit better than him out of college. So they got Desmond Trufant. He's getting older. So they need someone to play the other side. So I think Jeff Okudah's the pick here.
I would agree. I have Okudah as well. I feel like his tape is the best. Now,
Yeah.
his pro day, it was a little sketchy. A lot of people said that he was almost like wasn't trying, they said. He wasn't giving his full effort, but I think he'll be fine. The best thing for the Lions is I have a stat here, 0 pass interference calls all year. 0.
The Lions?
No, Jeff
Oh,
Okudah.
Okudah?
has
Yeah.
Zero
Pass interference calls.
Yes.
He comes
So
up in the big moments.
That's why I have him down.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, we're definitely going to disagree here.
We are.
Okay, I want you to go first because I have
All right.
some.
I have Simmons. I think.
Okay.
I mean, the Giants need defense. That's for sure. But I mean, the Giants could really do anything here. They were ranked 30th in defense and allowed 6,000 yards. They have a young quarterback.
Yeah.
But I feel like defense needs fixing. And really, why I picked him is he can play anywhere. I mean, he's a fast linebacker. He could cover. He could blitz. He could do anything. So that's why I have him at 4.
See, and I almost went with him at 4, but I ended up going with, he's not my highest rated tackle, he's 3rd, but you gotta love him. Mekhi Becton from Louisville, he's 6'7", 364 with 35 inch arms. He's crazy. He's a pancake monster, and he has a 7-foot wingspan. There's not a lot of downside beside his weight, and his size. He could I think he's gonna get lazy. But I think the Giants need to protect Daniel Jones because he showed flashes. He's not there yet, but he showed flashes, and I think with Becton, it could help a lot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They could go lineman there. I still have Simmons. I feel like Simmons could really impact their defense. All right, enough said. Number 5, what are you going with?
Dolphins get the 3rd or probably the 2nd best player in the draft in Tua. He was a beast. He has the highest passer rating in college football history. If it wasn't for Nick Saban being stupid against South Carolina, he probably would have never gotten hurt. We probably wouldn't have been here. So his junior year against LSU, they shut out LSU 29-0. He was 25 for 42 with 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And then this year against LSU, he went 21 for 40, 418 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. You can't get better than that. I know that Joe Burrow is a great talent, and don't get me wrong, he's going to be a great player, but I think Tua Tagovailoa is the pick here.
All right. I actually think that the Dolphins are going to hiccup and pick Herbert. Now, I know tank for Tua. I feel like they're scared. I've heard a lot of rumors that they're not going to take Tua and take Herbert, and I kind of feel like Herbert is a more pro-ready. I feel like you'd have to kind of mature Tua. Yeah. I feel like Herbert can step in and make an impact, but I do feel like they're going to take Herbert just because of the injuries. You could go Herbert, Tua. I think they're both going to be pretty good.
They're both going to be pretty good.
And I actually think Herbert has the potential to be better than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Herbert has a lot of upside. He struggles under pressure a bit more than your usual quarterback.
He does, yes.
He's 6'6".
First week.
He probably could have been the 2nd quarterback picked last year behind Kyler. Probably could have went to the Raiders, Redskins, Giants, somewhere. But he decided to stay back a year and he tried to prove himself a bit more. He didn't prove a ton. I think he showed he's a leader. I guess he's a great player. If he uses all of his upside, he could be a very good NFL player. He's 6'6", so.
Yeah, he's a big quarterback. All right, number 6.
I just talked about him. I got Justin Herbert. You know,
Herbert.
he's gonna be. He's got Keenan Allen. You know, he's in Los Angeles, big market. I think Justin Herbert's the pick here. You know, they have Tyrod Taylor, who they said that could be their guy, but like, you know, getting older, Herbert is who the Chargers want to see, and that's who I want to see the Chargers pick. Herbert at 6.
Wow. All right, I have Tua. I know the Chargers said that they didn't really want a quarterback. They have Tyrod Taylor. I have them picking Tua. They can't pass on him. I feel like he's the most talented quarterback in the draft. Enough said. We've talked about him too much.
I mean,
All right.
his injuries are kind of like a question mark, but I think if he's healthy, he'll be really good.
Yes. Number 7, Panthers. Who you got?
One of the most talented people in the draft. They get a steal here in Derek Brown.
Yes, I have
he's
Derek Brown as well.
He is a beast. He was chasing down people. You know, he's from the He's in the SEC. Like, can't get much better than that. And Auburn had a great year, and he was the leader of that defense. And watching him against LSU, God, they could barely stop him. Auburn almost beat LSU.
He's 6'5", 325 pounds. And the Panthers have the worst run defense in the league. The 2,200 yards of opponents last year. So they needed him. Stop that run.
My problem with this pick is obviously the Panthers are rebuilding. They got a new coach. They traded one lineman for a worse lineman, if you remember this offseason.
Yes, yeah.
So I don't know if Derek Brown is really the big guy to pick here because, you know, they could go with someone unexpected like Jordan Love, or they could go receiver, which I don't think they should, and I don't think they will. But, you know, I don't think Derek Brown's the big part of the rebuild that they need. But, I mean, he's a beast, so I think he's the best available player. So, Derek Brown at 7.
Alrighty. Derek Brown at 7. Now the Cardinals. What are they going to do here?
Well,
they need a lot. They're
a few
traded
pieces
for Hopkins.
They're a few pieces away. My favorite football team, the Arizona Cardinals. We got Hopkins, so I don't think we should go receiver this early. We can go offensive line, but for now, I'm just going to pick the best available player, Isaiah Simmons. Now, I know we got Devon Kennard in free agency and a few other big players in free agency for the defensive side of the ball, but come on, man. Simmons was all over the field. Like, he played outside linebacker. He was rushing the quarterback. He was playing safety. He's playing corner. He's just an all-around monster. Like, his combine interview, they're like, what position do you play? He just said defense. He's just a beast.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My pick, I feel like they have to protect Kyler here, and I go Tristan Wirfs from Iowa.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
I have him alongside DJ Humphries. Kyler's got to stay healthy. If they're going to want to win, they're going to have to stay they're going to have to stay healthy, so I have Wirfs here. I understand Kyler's a dual threat. He can kind of maneuver in the pocket, but he does average 32 passes a game, so they're definitely going to have to protect him.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd go Wirfs if Isaiah Simmons still wasn't here, so.
All right, number 9.
God, a
Jags.
dumpster fire of an organization right now, Jacksonville Jaguars.
They could really, they could do anything here. It's up for grabs.
Yeah, so I have a little of a surprising pick here. He's supposed to go later in the first, mid to late in the first round, but Javon Kinlaw, man. Javon Kinlaw, man. He's a beast for South Carolina.
Yeah, he is.
If Derek Brown didn't take part of this whole interior defensive line, I think Kinlaw could be going higher up. But I think Kinlaw is going to be a beast.
Man, I'm looking at this right now, and I honestly have no clue what they are going to do. But I'm also going to go with Kinlaw. I feel like they definitely need that position, and, I mean, he's a beast. I mean, you can't really say much about him. They need anyone on the field that they can get, so they're going to pick one of the best players in the draft.
I mean, okay, so he was a senior this year. He played 12 games. He had 15 solo tackles, 20 assists, 35 tackles for loss. He had 0 forced fumbles, which was his first year not having that, but he had 6 total sacks as an interior defensive lineman. That's pretty
insane. He's got the power. I watched a little film before. He's got some power.
He's got some power. Yeah, I agree. All right, pick 10.
The Browns.
I think the obvious answer is offensive tackle.
Yes.
And
I have been picking.
Go ahead.
Actually, Jerick Wills. I feel like.
Okay. Very good player from Alabama.
He has the most technique. He obviously went to Alabama, one of the best schools in the nation at football. And I just feel like they're going to pick the safe bet and go with him.
See, I think I'd agree with that, but Wirfs is still on the board, and Baker Mayfield, he's going to need to pass the ball and stuff like that. He's going to need to throw it. I mean, he's a great pass protector, and he's still on the board at 10. I think Tristan Wirfs at 10.
Awesome. I like that pick. All right, moving a little quicker, we got the Jets. Who are they picking?
Okay, so Jets pretty much need anything offensively. One of the worst offenses, last in pass yards, and they lost Robbie Anderson to the Panthers. I got CeeDee Lamb at 11. I don't think he's the best receiver, but I've been hearing a lot. Jets really like him. He's a beast at Oklahoma. Like that game against LSU, he had some big grabs when Hurts would just lob it up to him. He's just an all-around monster, and I think CeeDee Lamb's the pick.
I think CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver. I'm going Jerry Jeudy at 11.
Yeah, I think like he's the best receiver in the draft, well-rounded.
I do as well. I have the Jets picking him. They need a wide receiver. They need to get Sam Darnold some weapons, so I've got him.
All right, pick 12. Raiders can do a lot here. I think receiver's a big need. Corner's a big need. I mean, they got a lot of stuff they could do here. I have them reaching a bit, but, Mike Mayock, John Gruden, they're draft gurus. They reached last year for Clelin Ferrell. So I think the pick here is a corner from Florida. Tremendous kid. Athletic. CJ Henderson. I think that's the pick for the Raiders at 12.
All right, at 12, I've got CeeDee Lamb. I feel like he's the most complete receiver. He had a great quarterback thrown to him in Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's fast. He can catch the ball. I think the Raiders pick him. Another weapon.
He's athletic. He's pretty big.
Yes.
That's why I had him at 11.
He's all the Raiders need. All right, San Francisco. Man, off that Super Bowl, what are they going to do?
Okay. Well, I've been looking around, there's a lot. They could go receiver. I think corner's not a bad option. But let me tell you, all these 49ers fan pages are Jerry Jeudy at 13, Jerry Jeudy at 13. They are really needing Jerry Jeudy at 13 to get in their young receiving core. I mean, Kittle, they got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I think Jerry Judy's the pick here.
All right, I have Henry Ruggs, the speedster. I had three offensive linemen taken, and now I have 3 wide receivers. So I feel like he's their bet. I feel like he can add another weapon to that offense.
Yeah, I agree. Ruggs is a great player.
He is. Tampa Bay, requirement of Tom Brady. What are they doing? Who are they going to pick?
A very talented offensive tackle still here, and that's a huge hole in their team. Winston struggled with pressure, and he threw a lot of picks. Tom Brady's going to be 43 by the start of next season. So I think Jedrick Wills from Alabama, really talented kid, played a sophomore and junior, and I think he played a senior, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it was just a sophomore and junior. But he was a beast all around for Alabama.
All right. Here, Becton's still on the board. They're going to go with him from Louisville. Offensive tackle, protect Brady a little, and kind of develop an offensive tackle. I just feel like that's a safe bet for them. They don't need any more weapons. I think Tom Brady's going to be fine.
And sorry, Jedrick Wills was a junior, but, he played almost every game for them. So I think that's the pick.
Yes. Number 15, the Broncos. Interesting pick here. What do they need?
So, in your mock, I could see them trading down. This is a no trade mock. If the 3 best receivers are gone, but Henry Ruggs is still on the board at 15, and they are in love with him. I think Henry Ruggs is the pick. He's a speedster. He could pair well with Courtland Sutton. Drew Lock needs some weapons. I think Henry Ruggs is the pick.
All right. I'd love to see them take a wide receiver. I think they'd love to take a wide receiver. I feel like the top 3 wide receivers are off the board. They need to protect their young quarterback in Drew Lock. They pick Andrew Thomas from Georgia.
That's a good pick.
I feel like I watched a little tape on him as well. He's a huge offensive tackle. He's definitely got the power. And they're saying that he had a really good pro day, so we'll see.
Yeah. I like the pick
All right,
there.
Falcons. What are they doing?
They let Vic Beasley walk this offseason. I don't know, man. I think they could go, really anything here. I think K'Lavon Chaisson from LSU, he's a beast. I think he's a very underrated prospect in this draft. I think if Chase Young wasn't here, then I think this kid will be, a top 10, top 15 player, but they have him in the late first. K'Lavon Chaisson was a beast all year for LSU. They give the number 18 to leaders on the team, and they gave him that number, and I think he played great in it.
All right, I'm looking at my draft. Chaisson is there. C.J. Henderson is there. They need a corner. They need an edge rusher. I've just got a feeling they're going to pick Chaisson.
I mean, yeah.
One of the best edge rushers in the draft. One of the most needed positions. They're going to go with him.
Yeah, I agree. 17.
All right.
We got Dallas.
Cowboys.
Okay, so they could go corner here because they lost Byron Jones. But they really have a huge hole in their defense in the secondary anyway. I think the best player on the board in the whole secondary is Xavier McKinney from Alabama. I think he's a beast. I think you could also go Del Pitt, Christian Fulton. I think those are two other guys you can go with. But, I mean, Xavier McKinney you just can't pass on at this point in the draft. I think Xavier McKinney to Dallas at 17.
Wow. I had that pick as well. McKinney going to the Cowboys. I think he's better than Del Pitt. I'm going to say it. I think he's better.
I don't know.
And they definitely need that.
Del Pitt kind of worries me in some categories, but he's also a beast. So I think you're good either way with there. I think Del Pitt probably is a bit better, needs to work on some things, but I like McKinney.
All right. Dolphins, another pick. What are they going to do?
Jeez. If I was the Dolphins, I would be so happy. Well, you got to protect Tua, or you have Herbert, but they got to protect Tua. The obvious pick, Andrew Thomas at 18. He fell all the way to 18. The same guy that last year they were projecting a top 4 pick. Now he fell all the way to 18. Andrew Thomas to the Dolphins.
All right. I'd call him a project player. I know they acquired some defense in the free agency. I'm going with Del Pitt. 2 safeties in a row.
Mm-hmm. That's
I think that they need that in the secondary, so I'm going with Del Pitt.
All right. We got Vegas at 19.
The Raiders, 19. All right.
Who do you got?
Whew. Man, I'm looking here. They definitely need a corner. I'm going with championship DNA, Christian Fulton from LSU.
Yep, I like him. He was a senior. He played pretty good. But let me tell you, man, Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota are not going to last forever. And you know John Gruden likes his quarterbacks. Jordan Love from Utah State has a lot of upside. I'm going Jordan Love here. I think Gruden could turn him into a great player. He's going to learn from Mariota. Crazy. I mean, this kid has all the potential in the world. I think Jordan Love at 19, I don't think he's going to be better than the top 3 quarterbacks. He has a lot of potential. I don't know if he's going to hit he is a high ceiling, low floor type of player. I got Jordan Love at 19.
All right, the Jaguars. Looking here, they need a cornerback. C.J. Henderson's still on the board. I've got C.J. I mean, I don't think they can really pass on him. I honestly think he's better than Christian Fulton, and they're going to take him.
Yeah, CJ's already off my board. They definitely need a corner. They lost AJ Boye. I got Christian Fulton here, actually. He played his senior year at LSU. He had a great season. When I watched him in person, he was locked down against A&M. So I'm going Christian Fulton.
All right, next, Eagles. They need some weapons. That's been their problem.
They got rid of Aguilar's
gone. I mean, it didn't really matter. He didn't do much. And right here, Justin Jefferson's on the board. They're going to take him.
I agree. Justin Jefferson was great at LSU. He's really high on himself. He really thinks he could be a number 1 receiver in a lot of places. And I agree. I think Justin Jefferson's a great receiver. He has a lot to work on, but I can't wait to see him at the next level. From a 2-star to being the 21st pick, I mean, that's pretty good.
All right, next we got the Vikings. They have 2 picks in this late round. What are they doing?
with the Vikings' first pick, they need corners, man. Jeff Gladney from TCU, he's a great player. I watched some film on him. He's not up there with Okuda, but he's still a great player. I like Fulton a bit better than him, but he's a great player, man. Jeff Gladney from TCU.
Yes, they can really do anything here. I mean, the Saints could pick Glenley. I don't think the Patriots will. I think they're locked at corner. They do need a receiver, but they're going to go with one of the best corners in the draft, Jeff. Not Jeff Okuda, Jeff Gladney, of course. And I just feel like the cornerback drop-off is insane after him. I don't think there may be another corner in the second round, but other than that,
there's
I kind of feel
Bryce
like
Hall and
there's a
AJ
drop-off.
Terrell, but after Bryce Hall and AJ
like
Terrell, I don't think there's a ton of talent. So,
All right. The Patriots, after losing Tom Brady, what are they going to do here?
I mean, I don't see them spending a first-round pick on a quarterback. Like, I just don't. I think edge rusher and receiver are probably their two biggest needs. Oh, God. I got to go with Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State. He was a beast. I think he's a very, very, very underrated player in this draft. He's a player to watch out for. He's going to be good. I think Matos is the pick here.
Wow. I've got Jordan Love. I got the quarterback out of Utah State.
See,
I feel like
my thing is, Jordan Love would be a great fit to the Patriots, but like I don't see them drafting quarterback early. I think they can get someone like Fromm or someone like that, someone like who people are gonna kind of sleep on and get him in the 5th round. And Belichick could develop him, kind of like he did with Brady. Now none of them are gonna be as good as Brady, but I think it's like kind of like that situation.
I feel like they're a little worried. I mean, I know they have Stidham. I know they have some guys behind him, but I just don't feel like they can win without at least get a young quarterback and maybe save him and mature him a little. But I just feel like their fan base and their front office is a little nervous, so they'll kind of lock that spot up.
24.
All right, next.
New Orleans
Saints.
Okay.
Ooh,
There's
another
a few
good
things
team.
they could do here.
Yes. Man.
I think receiver is a slight hole for them. They got Emmanuel Sanders, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But Kenneth Murray, man, out of Oklahoma, he was a beast all season long. I mean, Oklahoma, Big 12 isn't known for their defenses, but this kid was by far the best player in Oklahoma's defense. I'm going Kenneth Murray at 24 to the New Orleans Saints.
Man, I just can't see the Saints picking an Oklahoma linebacker. I see them picking an LSU linebacker, Patrick Queen.
Okay.
I feel like they kind of reach for him a little, but I feel like he is the better linebacker.
I like Patrick Queen too, but I mean, Kenneth Murray, man.
Yeah, I know. He is pretty good. I just can't see that.
Yeah.
All right, next, we got the Vikings with their second pick in the first round. They do need receiver. There's a few. We know this wide receiver draft class is pretty good. What are they doing?
A lot of people disagree with me, but I think the Vikings are going to pick one of the most talented receivers. Oh, God, this kid was so good at Clemson. T. Higgins. He was just a beast every single year. His sophomore season, he didn't have bad numbers. His junior season, he had really good numbers. I think this kid is going to be a monster in the NFL. He kind of reminds me of Diggs, and I think that's his Diggs replacement right there in T. Higgins.
You know what? I'm going for a little bit of a reach. I feel like T. Higgins is a good wide receiver, but I don't feel like he fits the Vikings. I got Chenault Jr. out of Colorado.
Oh, he's really good. I think
He is. I feel like he fell throughout the
combine
draft process.
The combine kind of ruined him. He didn't have the greatest combine, but he apparently I read something today that he might have done the combine injured. But I don't really know.
That is true. I just feel like he's the pick there. All right, number 26, the Dolphins, another pick. Who are they going with?
Man, he fell. Grant Delpit from LSU. A lot of upside. He fell pretty far. I don't know if he'll make it past the Cowboys, but they're either going to get Delpit or McKinney. I think Delpit's a great player. He's just kind of fallen through the season. People don't really like him because his tackling, but he's really good downfield. He gets a lot of sacks. Once he learns coverage a bit better in the NFL, he needs some coaching, but I think Delpit's a great player.
All right. I like that pick as well. I had Delpit going earlier. What pick are we on? 27.
Yeah,
Is that right?
27, yep.
The Seahawks.
Who did you have the Dolphins drafting?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had Zach Bond, edge from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, he's a great player. He was there. They need an edge rusher.
Okay.
So we got the Seahawks, and with the loss of Jadeveon Clowney, that defense, little lackluster. I'm going with Gross Matos. He's still there. I feel like they pick him from Penn State.
Yeah, he's a great player, but honestly, right after that 2019 NFL draft, there was a big board that came out for 2020, and this kid was ranked 4th, and he's fallen since. He had a great season at Iowa. I got AJ Espinosa. I think the only reason why he's fallen because they realized how good the other edge rushers are in the draft, like Matos and like Chason and like Zach Bond and players like that and like Curtis Weaver. But I think AJ Espinosa is right up there with them. I think he needs some coaching, but let me tell you, he's going to be pretty good.
Nice pick. 28 Ravens. I got them. Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma. Linebacker.
I got your opposite. I got Patrick Queen here. We switched our picks.
Yeah, we switched.
I think Queen's
He's still there.
You know,
they pick
Patrick Queen could be good. I think Kenneth Murray's probably the better talent. You know, Patrick Queen showed a lot. I don't really know too much about him. I watched him in person. I think he's going to be a quality starter for them. He had some big flashes, but he's only a 1-year starter for LSU. So we don't really know a ton about him.
Yeah. Here, man. 29, is that what we're at?
Yeah,
all right.
29.
Titans. I got AJ Espinosa. I have another defense coming off the board. Edge rusher, Iowa. Like you said, he was ranked 4th last year, and I think he goes off the board here.
Yeah, it's a really good pick right there. Espinosa's really good, but I actually got, we're flipping again, Zach Bond out of Wisconsin.
All right.
He's really explosive. He can trigger. He can create disruption in the backfield. You know, he doesn't have really the size, but I think he has a lot to work on, but kind of reminds me of Kyle Van Noy. But, you know, we'll see. I think he could be a great player.
All right. Number 30, the Packers. Ooh. I've got an interior lineman from Michigan. This is a little surprise. Cesar Ruiz. I've watched him. He's pretty good. He's really good, actually, and I have them picking him to kind of mature up.
Yeah, I like Ruiz. I think he's going to go in the first round. I don't think he's going to go to the Packers, though. They got to go receiver, man. Devontae Adams had near 1,000 yards, and after that, it was kind of just a fall off of whoever you want. Alan Lazard had 477. Aaron Jones is their third leading receiver at 474. So, I mean, I think you got to go receiver. And I think Chenault is still here from Colorado. I think Laveshka Chenault Jr. from Colorado is the pick.
Wow. All right. Getting down to the last couple picks. We got 31, another San Francisco pick. And I have Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle from Georgia. Now, they could do a lot of things here, but I think they kind of lock up their offensive line, get another tackle, and mature him up.
I like that. I think the pick here is they need a corner, and I think we saw flashes through this corner throughout the year. He started off as a first-round talent. He was kind of falling down throughout the year. He didn't have his best game against LSU, but I got AJ Terrell from Clemson.
Wow. All right. I like that pick. Last pick, we got the Chiefs. And just imagine Patrick Mahomes and DeAndre Swift. I got DeAndre Swift.
And I almost went with DeAndre Swift. But, man, for an interior offensive lineman at 6'4", 320 pounds, I mean, he's 20 years old. Cesar Ruiz, man. He's going to be good. I think interior linemen, they don't really go usually as high because left tackle's the second most important position in football. But, man, Ruiz, he could be a beast as an interior lineman for the Chiefs. I got Ruiz at 32.
All right, both go with offense. All righty.
Yeah.
That completes it.
That's 1.0 of the mock draft. We kind of got some disagreements, but...
We got some disagreements. We got some switches. I like it.
And before this ends, I want to hear your top 5 quarterbacks in this year's draft.
Oh, gosh. Top 5 quarterbacks. I got Burrow as my number 1. I feel like, man, I can't go from this season was insane. I can't switch up from that. Next, I got Tua at 2. I feel like he has the most talent, but Burrow has the most upside coming off last season. Next, Herbert, Love, and finally Easton. I think Easton could be a dark horse.
Okay, my top 5, I got Tua at 1. I mean, come on, man. Freshman year at Alabama, they're down 26-3. They're like, true freshman quarterback, Tua, get in the game. And he showed everyone who he is. He let the world know who Tua Tagovailoa is. I think he's the best college quarterback to never win a Heisman. I think, he got really unlucky towards the end of last year with Kyler Murray having a great year. This year, Burrow popped out of nowhere, and if he wouldn't have got hurt, I think Tua probably could have won that Heisman. At 2, I got Joe Burrow coming off an amazing season. My only issues with him is, his lack of arm strength, his inexperience, not really inexperience, I'd say, but, one good year at LSU. His first year was just average. 3, I got Herbert. I think he should have entered the draft last year, but he's 6'6", struggles under pressure, but other than that, he's pretty good. He has to be a leader a bit more, he has to be a bit meaner in the locker room. But Jordan Love at 4, I really wish I could put this kid higher. But the problem with him, not his best year at Utah State. They did switch coaches. He kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. Not poor man's, but, he's Patrick Mahomes if Patrick was a bit worse. I think Love is the 4th best. And 5th, man, this is kind of shocking, and I know you're going to kind of start arguing with me over this one. But, gosh, man, I think the 5th best quarterback in this year's draft is Anthony Gordon from Washington State. Washington State is...
You have talked about him
they're an
all
air
year.
raid. And, I said the same thing about Minshew. I was like, Minshew's going to be one of those players that could be an NFL starter. He's not going to be the greatest, but they throw the ball a ton there at Washington State. So I think that's the 5th best quarterback in the draft. The problem with him, he's a 1-year starter. But other than that, right outside, I got Eason at 6 probably, and then Hurts is probably the next up.
Yep. Man, I think if any other quarterback would have thrown as much as Washington State did, they'd win the Heisman.
The thing is...
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I agree.
They do throw the ball a lot.
They do throw the ball a lot, but, come on, man. He's ridiculous. He had a great season. You can't take that away from him. A 1-year starter putting up, 5,000 yards, second in college football. That's some good numbers.
It is. All right. I had fun. First mock draft.
Yep.
First podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. We will be coming out part 2 to this, but it'll be our big board, our kind of top players of the draft. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? That'll be out soon. So we hope you enjoyed. Anything to say?
I'm just going to say that this year's draft, very different than last year's draft. I think this year there's going to be a lot of very good players, a lot of stars, but there's not a lot of superstars. I think Okuda and I think Chase Young, Burrow, Tua kind of got that potential to be the superstars and the next big players, but I don't really see Chase Young being the next J.J. Watt, the next Aaron Donald. I don't see Joe Burrow being the next Tom Brady, but I think this year's draft is very solid and it has a lot of potential.
I would agree with that. A lot of potential, a lot of great players. All right. Is that all we have to say?
That's all I got for now. Signing out for now.
All right, signing out.
Ashton here. We'll see you later.
See ya.